Welcome to the ToKnight Show with Superintendent Shannon Cheek, your go-to podcast for staying in the know about all the exciting happenings in your local school community. We know that we are stronger together, so today's conversation is designed to give you a greater opportunity to be actively engaged in the success of our students. And now, Mr. Cheek.
Good afternoon. I'm Shannon Cheek, and welcome to the ToKnight Show. I'm really excited today because this is episode 4, and we've had kind of an introduction to our administrative staff the first 3 episodes, and not that that wasn't exciting and fun to do, but I'm maybe a little bit more excited today because now we get to start talking to some staff and talking about programs that we have to offer here in our district. So I'm joined today with Mrs. Hannah Uphoff. She is our brand new ag teacher and FFA sponsor and everything else that comes with that. So the audience, I think, knows me because I've kind of done some introductions for the last 3 episodes. So why don't we start off and just talk a little bit about who you are and kind of maybe talk a little bit about your history and your career path and kind of what's led you to Arthur.
All right. Yeah, so I come from Altamont, Illinois, about an hour away by Effingham. I've known I wanted to be a teacher since I was in the 2nd grade, actually. I've got a lot of younger siblings and cousins, and we were always playing school, and I was always the teacher and keeping them in line. It just really inspired me. After high school, I went to Lakeland College for 2 years in Mattoon. I loved Lakeland. I learned a great deal from those instructors down there. And then went on to the University of Illinois, where I just graduated this May. Finished up my student teaching at Mahomet Seymour High School with some very experienced teachers, and that was a great opportunity for me to develop my skills, and now I'm here.
Awesome. So, I mean, I've been able to witness and experience just some of your passion and some of your excitement, and that's contagious. So, you talked a little bit about wanting to be a teacher, but why ag? Like, when did you decide that? What point were you like, I knew I wanted to be a teacher, but why an ag teacher?
Yeah, so like I said, I've wanted to be a teacher for a very long time. Growing up, I always kind of threw around what I wanted to teach exactly, whether it was like biology or language or anything. But then whenever I got to high school and I was involved in the Altamont Ag and FFA program, I was really like hit with my aha moment. I was like, duh, I should do this because I'd been surrounded in agriculture. I grew up on a grain and livestock farm. My dad is a farmer, so I was just really surrounded by agriculture my entire life. And so I guess I didn't even really think about it as an option until high school. And then I jumped on that full on, and that has been my decision ever since.
Awesome. So you've had some experience in the field previously. So good. I think that, my experience with ag is, I grew up here in the Midwest, so I don't have direct experience on a farm, but in working with your co-teacher, I think when you did your student teaching, Mrs. Worley, I have extensive experience with her. And I think in my conversations with her and my experience in watching her grow that program, it seems like to me that everybody has, at least in the ag field, there's like you have your own little niche, right? There's lots of ways that you can go, and we'll talk a little bit about that later, but there's lots of different paths you can go. Would you say that you have, like, there's an area that you're more interested in, or that you have more experience in the ag field, or an area that you're just more excited about than another? Or is it just kind of just general excitement all over?
It is pretty general excitement. I really do care so much about every part, whether it's like the leadership side of things or the science or mechanics. But really my focus, I really enjoy science. I always have. Plant, animal science, both of them I really care about. And I think it's really important for students to learn about those things as well. So as a teacher in agriculture, I can teach those things kind of from a different perspective than just a regular science teacher, which I think I can connect with students in a different way maybe than they could. And I think that's a really unique experience. So I really enjoy that.
Excellent. Yeah. How about classes in your department? there's not 3 or 4 of you, right, in your department.
Right.
So you have, you've kind of walked into a situation where there might be some room for growth or some room for change. But as it sits currently, can you talk to us a little bit about like maybe some of the classes that are offered in your department, and maybe for some that aren't as versed in ag, what some of those classes might offer and what they might mean?
For sure. So many students start out taking the Introduction to Agriculture course, which, just as it sounds, is an intro to all of the world of agriculture. So they kind of get a taste of all the other classes that we offer here, and get to experience FFA for the first time, which is always so amazing and impressive. But right now they are wrapping up learning about their FFA unit, and then next semester we'll go on to some animal science stuff. So it's really fast paced and they really enjoy it. They get to learn a lot. From there, many students either take horticulture, which is all about plants, where students run our greenhouse out back and grow plants for graduation and for Mother's Day and all of the things outside. So we've been doing some tests on plants right now, learning about germination rates and stuff. And then, or students will take plant science / animal science. So the first semester they learn about plant anatomy and all about plants, and then second semester we go into animal science. They learn about different body parts of and systems of animals. We do some dissections. It's a really fun science credit class. And then students will take ag mechanics typically. One thing that's really unique about our ag mechanics program is that we go to Tri-County Welding and Fabrication 2 days a week here in Arthur. I think that's really great because they get firsthand experience on the job building a project. They are expected to show up with their clothes that they need to be wearing in order to weld, and I think it really helps them realize whether or not welding is a job that they want to pursue. We also talk about precision agriculture in that class, and small engines. So they'll get to tear down an engine and completely rebuild it, which is kind of exciting. So yeah. And
yes, talk about the full gamut, right? I mean,
yes.
I think that you've given some nice perspective, because I think people think ag and farming, and it's so much more. So definitely. I mean, such a wide perspective of classes that we're able to offer, and it kind of gives me some perspective of just the expertise that you have to teach from here to here. So yeah. Really cool. I know it's been a whirlwind. I mean, I remember over the summer you coming in, getting ready, and it's just like your first job out of college. Everything has just been kind of here, do it all, right? And I'm sure it's just been stressful and just a whirlwind. But up to this point, talk to us about your experiences here in Arthur and at the high school. What's that been like? Yeah,
of course. So yeah, like you said, I've been here pretty much all summer as teachers were leaving and wanting to spend time at home for their summer break. I was coming in and to get ready because I was just so excited. Experiencing here culture-wise at the high school, I've really enjoyed that probably the most. I think that we have so many really cool traditions and things that we do that are just kind of crazy sometimes, but they're really fun, and it makes kids and teachers so excited to go to school, which I really love.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Homecoming week, so there's a lot going on, right?
Yeah, that is crazy. I come from a school where we don't have football, so it's much more scaled back, but I really enjoyed it this year.
Good.
Yeah.
So anything that stood out, like you can think, I mean, I know we're almost through the semester, believe it or not. We're almost to winter break. Is there anything that has stood out like, oh yeah, this is definitely something I remember from first semester, positive, or some challenges that you've had, or can you think of anything?
Yeah, so our ag program actually does this really cool thing. I'm not sure of any other ag program that does this in the state of Illinois, but we grow our own popcorn that we sell at all of our football, basketball, volleyball, all of our home games. I think that's super cool. We grow that in our plot, and then students will take that and Pop Popcorn. And I remember the first time that I went to Pop Popcorn, because I've never done it before, I was so nervous. The popcorn is very hyped up here, and for a good reason, because it's really great. But I was so nervous that I was going to mess it up. So I started the popcorn for the football red and gold scrimmage like 2 hours early so that I could have everyone try it and make sure I was doing it right.
Oh, that's good. What's maybe something that you're most proud of? And again, I know it's only been a semester so far, but what's something that you talked about popcorn standing out, something unique to us. What's something that maybe you're most proud of at this point in time in your career?
Yeah, so something that I think I'm most proud of right now would definitely be seeing the first year FFA members just get so excited the first time they put on their blue FFA jacket and get to experience their first career development event in FFA or national convention even. So we took 14 students to national convention for the full 3 days, and of those 14 students, 5 of them were first year members.
Oh, that's
and
great.
Yeah, it was just so inspiring to see them experience that for the first time.
Yeah.
And it's something I will not forget.
Yeah, it kind of led into my next question, which you kind of talked about the national convention and what part of that was most memorable, and you talked about maybe the 5 new members, and we did have a conversation about maybe what was more memorable for you, and that was driving the minibus, right?
Yes, downtown Indianapolis, driving a big bus. It's very crowded.
A lot of props for you for doing that.
But
So
I
good
feel
for
like
you.
I feel like I have my gold star in driving that thing by now.
Absolutely. So how about goals? I know, again, I understand that, frankly, your first year in a position, you're treading water, right? You're just trying to get through. But I think in getting to know you, I don't think that's really your personality. So with that being said, what are some things that you've been thinking about? Like, what are some goals or aspirations for the program moving forward? What thoughts do you have?
Yeah, so moving forward, I would love to see maybe some new opportunities for our students within maybe some different course options too. When I was student teaching, there was a really great leadership course, ag leadership, that I think would be so phenomenal for our students both in ag and not in ag. So that is something that I would definitely want to add maybe further down the line. Other than that, for our FFA program, I would just love for us to get a really solid foundation here at the school so that we can spread into the community and then, eventually get our name known in the state. So get some plaques up on the wall.
Absolutely. I'm all about it. So let's do it. So for some that don't know FFA, I think that some that don't really know what FFA really is, I think they probably have a perception, right, of what they think it is. But the more that I have learned about what FFA can offer and the things that it can do for kids, what's your perception of, like, what would you tell those that only have a one-track vision of what FFA is? How would you convince them that it's so much more than just that one-track thing that they might think about?
So FFA is the largest student-led organization in the entire country. So that is something that's really impressive. So all those kids are not farmers. They come from big cities, small towns, all the same. There is a place for everyone in FFA, whether they're interested in some kind of leadership role, learning about being an officer, how to run a meeting, public speaking is a really big one, to more career development things, whether that be something more into the farming aspect of things or not. I think there's something in FFA for every single person. And if you aren't interested in maybe everything, then you will learn about those things and you'll gain a new perspective.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying public speaking, because that's one thing I've learned is what a valuable skill and what an incredible organization for promoting that skill, because there's so many opportunities to develop that skill and get better at it. So I appreciate you bringing that up. you kind of touched on this as well, and that is it's not just about those that have grown up on a farm and that maybe want to go back and farm, right? There's so many other career paths people can choose, and it opens up a lot of different doors for students and adults. So as you think about like your journey in your career and our kids currently, what are some of those doors that you think, being a part of an ag program and an FFA program, what doors could be opened that aren't just about farming?
Certainly. So right now in our ag business class, we have many public speakers guest speakers come in and talk to our students, whether they could be accountants or working in a bank or lawyers. Really any career needs people who want to do it, first of all. Mm-hmm. And you have to have some sort of leadership, and you want to have to be a self-starter, good at communicating with other people. Mm-hmm. And that's what you can learn through FFA. It's not just about farming. I mean, I became a teacher, but I know several people who are working in the news or, mm-hmm. I don't know, really anything, because you have the skills to back you up as your foundation, and then the world is out there.
Great, excellent. So you talked about the greenhouse, and that's been a relatively new addition to the school, to our high school. In kind of a perfect world, we just had some architects in here talking about, perfect world, what would you dream of if you could dream up of any kind of facility that you would want? No restraints, like no money constraints. You've got all the land you want. So in a perfect world, what would be like your vision for the program? What would be a need that you could identify that would help grow your program?
Right. First and foremost, I think the easiest answer for me would be space. I am very limited in space within the classroom, our shop area for mm-hmm. our mechanics lab, and our greenhouse is pretty small compared to close by schools and things, which limits the number of students that I can have in my classes, mm-hmm. Which will then limit them, in that the impact that FFA and those classes can have on a student. So space would definitely be the foremost thing for sure. Okay.
We talked about vision for programming, and we touched on that a little bit. So kind of one of my last wrap-up questions is, 5 to 10 years down the road, where do you see our program?
I see this program so doubled in size, honestly. The need and interest is here. I have 2 introduction to agriculture classes right now that I teach, and they're both full of students. And I don't see that need or interest ending anytime soon. Mm-hmm. Our mechanics class is always full. Students are so interested. They want that opportunity to go weld at Tri-County. They want the opportunity to learn those skills that they will use after high school. So I think it is really important that we invest in this program and keep working towards that goal. But yeah, I would just see a lot of size, just new things always added. Technology in agriculture is always changing. So we need to keep our students updated on that as well. So whenever they leave here, if that's something they're interested in, then they can pick up right where they left off in high school.
Excellent. Well, again, your energy and passion for what you do is contagious. And I'm sure that came through in the interview today. So I appreciate your time. I want to thank you for giving up some of your day to spend with us. I know the viewers are going to really appreciate the information. And again, I just really appreciate your time and appreciate your passion. So thank you for that. And I would share with viewers that next week we will be recording another episode where we're going to be talking to members of our community, the Arthur Ed Foundation. We're going to have representatives of the PTO here, representatives of both the athletic boosters as well as the fine arts boosters, to get some perspective on how those groups and organizations have supported our schools throughout the year. So I hope you tune in to that as well. And then just one more programming note. I would mention that in just a short few weeks here, we're going to be going on winter break. So the release of future episodes might be delayed. So continue to keep updated via social media and Facebook on release of new episodes. And once again, we thank you for tuning in to The ToKnight Show.
Thank you for listening to The ToKnight Show, a broadcast of Arthur Lovington Outwood Hannon Community Unit School District number 305. Special thanks to today's guests. This podcast is produced for you by the Arthur Lovington Outwood Hannon Broadcasting class.